you've made it to the Lost in Translation podcast. Good chance you were looking for something else, but you've landed here. Three Jesus-loving men who are bringing more heat than this trumpet line. Pre-recorded live from Whitehorse Studios on the Gold Coast, it's now time to get comfortable and possibly offended with Brody, Scott, and Dan.
Well, all right. So good to be here tonight. Tuesday night, whatever it is, close to the end of March. I think, 31st tomorrow. So it would make it the 30th today, in Australia, that is. So we're here tonight, ready to do another topic with the boys. If you happen to be watching on YouTube, you will notice we have oh my gosh.
Ooh, there's a bit of a weight in the room.
We have a special guest, a man by the name of Marshall Gray on my right. Will it come up on my right up there? Who knows? Whatever. If you can see him. So Marshall we dragged him in tonight to add some weight to our topic.
It's actually past to Marshall.
My bad.
Considering the topic.
Rookie mistake right there.
Wow.
So, and we've obviously got Scott and Brody. If you're listening on Spotify, hey, listen, we're glad you are listening and or watching. We always appreciate people out there that are listening. Man, we have viewers and listeners all around the world at the moment. It's crazy.
We're international.
Turkey, Mexico.
Yep, Mexico.
Spain.
Just
Tasmania.
Texas. I saw Texas in there too.
Wow. And
Just want to honour our Australian friends.
Oh, man. So we are doing a topic tonight on honour. I think a very intriguing topic, a great thing to discuss, because I guess there's elements of honour that are clearly articulated in the Bible, in the Word of God. Well, actually, you see it throughout the Scriptures from Old Testament to New Testament. But so we'll talk about honour from a godly, right perspective, but also maybe bring up how it can be unhealthy elements of honour. But let's just start off with a scripture.
Oh, I thought it was story time.
No story time tonight, mate. We've got the guest in, so
I'm nervous.
Mate, we all are too. In Romans chapter 12, verse 9, I'll read the whole through to verse 16 because I think it's a really great piece of scripture. It says, "Love must be sincere, hate what is evil, cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in love." Here's the part. "Honour one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal, and keep your spiritual fervour. Serving the Lord, be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited." Romans chapter 12, verse 9 through to 16. Great piece of scripture. It talks about honouring one another. And so I think we should maybe articulate. I don't know, one of you boys can jump in. Well, let's throw it to the guest.
Oh, stitch up straight away.
Maybe, from your point of view from the Bible, what do you look like that for? What is honour? Yeah, that's a good question to ask. What is it? Maybe from a biblical, maybe your own opinion, maybe from Webster's dictionary. Let's go from there. Start on that premise. What is honour?
Well, it actually translates in the New Testament as value.
Nice.
Almost like a price you put on something.
Very good.
So you honour something in accordance to how you value it. How much is my house worth? Well, it's worth what someone's prepared to pay to buy it.
That's like 4.5 mil in your case, isn't it?
5.5. Mate, get that right.
On the canals.
5.5.
Wow.
Number of grace.
I take that back.
Anyway.
We're just getting started.
Yeah, far out.
So good.
So it's represented by value. So I could honour someone more than someone else because of the value that I put on them.
Yep.
Probably due to proximity or their input in my life or so it's like value.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that's a simple way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I've always seen it. If I'm honouring someone, it's exactly what I think they're worth. It's the value that I'm putting on something. Like even in the New Testament, if you go back, when it talks about Judas giving over the 30 shekels or shekels or whatever, that was how he honoured Christ. That was the value he put on Christ. And the word there is the root of honour. So I think it's honour is mine to give to someone. And it is exactly that. That's how I've always seen it. It's the value I'm putting on something.
So,
don't go. I was just going to say, you go, like it's used in so many contexts. Honour your mother and father. Honour widows. Peter talks about honouring everyone.
Yeah.
You just read honour one another. And I think that is what being part of the kingdom is all about. Being part of the church is that we do value and put honour on everyone, regardless of race, status, age. Yeah.
So on that, I concur. But honor is something you give. Question could be asked: can you demand honor? Is it something that I can come along and say, look, man, you should honor me? Because I think sometimes in the church, because we are Christian men and we're talking in the context of church predominantly. Can that happen in the church where maybe it's not as clear as what I just said then? You need to honour me, but there is this undertone. Is that something that is a healthy thing?
Yeah,
Geez, you're all gone quiet.
I just wanted to see who jumped in.
What, did I speak in Asian then? Was it another language?
I think it can be demanded. So if a policeman he has an authority, I actually need to honour that uniform, whether I know the person or not. There is he's a valued she are a valued part of our community. They do a lot. So actually, I think it can be demanded. I think it's weak if it reverts to that.
Yeah.
I think it's weak if you have to say, I'm a policeman, you have to honour me.
It's the actions, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a weak way of leading.
The heart of the person should be
Yeah.
to honour. Yeah, I agree.
So going the second mile, like a Roman soldier could ask you to go a mile. So the second mile, I know that's valuing, it's showing Christ's heart for humanity by just going the extra mile. But can you demand it? I think people do demand it. You don't have to give it. But I think people do demand it.
Yeah.
Well, they teach on that.
Yeah, I would say yes to that as well.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe we should dialogue that maybe the unhealthy elements of honour.
Yeah.
Because I think in my quarter of 28 years now, actually, in church life, I've seen that. I'm sure you guys have as well. And maybe we could unpack that in maybe just the unhealthy element of it, how it is, how it's demanded. Maybe you've seen it, bro.
So I guess it would be hard, I suppose, if you think in a church environment, a young, thriving church environment, it might be hard to have a culture of honour if a lot of people don't really know what that looks like to start with. So they could be coming from all sorts of broken homes, haven't had the example. We're in Australia. We're not the most honouring country in the world. We sort of...
true.
When you compare it to somewhere like, say, Japan, the whole culture is on honour.
Our culture is quite often tall.
It's blasé.
The tall poppy syndrome.
Wrap it up, settle down. Nothing's too important. So we hear a lot of messages. It'll be global as well. You hear a lot of stuff about trying to have a culture of honour, about honouring leaders and honouring each other. I guess from that end, if you're the person trying to grow that culture, it would be hard if you're dealing with a heap of people who have no idea where to start with honour. So I think, like, in that regard, I understand why they're always teaching on it. I've always found it a weird one when it's like 12 steps to honour your leader. And that's literally a book that's out. And the whole idea is to follow these steps and you'll know how to honour your leader. It goes both ways. I can understand that, but I think it can be manipulated a bit in different environments.
Where it becomes demanding.
It becomes demanding, yeah. But I think if you get it, like I feel if you know Jesus, you shouldn't not get it.
But I
Yeah.
think that's part of cultural engineering.
Yeah.
So, you know, you teach for compliance. Compliance creates culture, and then you live in that bubble of culture. To have a culture of honour, people can choose if they want to follow it or not. Honour's not a wrong thing at all, but I think it's got to be exemplified from your own life in order to receive it. I think the way to honour is through humility and
Be example.
wisdom,
Be the example. Yeah.
not by title and demand.
Yeah, I think the actions have got to lead. The actions have got to lead because I'd you know, if someone comes up and says, you know, you should honour me because of my title. I like the example of the policeman. You know, where in the Western world where the church is going very much against the culture with that. Because if you look at, especially in America, where there's been a lot of, you know, police brutality, etc., I would say a lot of people don't honour police over there because the actions no longer live up to, in many cases,
The standard.
the standard of what they've been in the past. So you got two things. So where as a church or as Kingdom Ethics, you know, it's obvious honour's part of being a part of the kingdom. We're going against the culture, trying to teach that, but potentially teaching it the wrong way because all it is just one like this way, rather than
like
hey,
up line.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I'm calling you know you there honour me because of title or because of teaching rather than because of the actions.
You can honour.
It's funny though because I would happily honour someone regardless of who they are.
Yeah.
Based on, say, my heart being softened because of Christ. I don't need someone to honour me to be able to honour them.
No,
It's
absolutely
it's
not.
a command of the word. So I think so many people, when they demand honour, say, if we're talking church context, if we're talking church leader, in any whatever context it is, if he's demanding honour, he can demand what he wants. It's really about the person who's, like, if you're withholding honour, I feel like you're in trouble. There's something up if you're withholding honour, because I don't think it's got anything to do with the title or the person. It's just about, like, I look at it as a respect thing, like a love thing. I don't really look at honour as a authority thing, because if it was on authority, if I don't respect authority, then I'm not going to listen to it. But I might have complete disrespect for authority, say in the police officer situation, but I would still honour the person because it's his as a person.
Yeah.
So I look at it
But
differently
see,
to you.
but sometimes you don't. You can honour the position and not the person.
Yeah.
Because I can honour a policeman in his uniform, but I know how he
Yeah.
acts when he's not in that uniform.
True.
But I will value his role in society as a policeman, but his character is nothing. Like a sensei in karate, he's well disciplined in karate, he's well disciplined in the art of kung fu, whatever. But I would never honour him, value his input in my life when it came to relationships or finances or
Yeah.
so I think there is, but then I think in the Christian world we can put honour when people have to honour you with their lips.
But their heart's miles off, which happens a lot.
That's the same with parenting too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So there's like, I think it's a massive. It's a reflection on your own heart at the end of the day, but it's still a real amazing thing we need to grapple with in the real sense. Because how can you honour your dad if you never met him? If he was horrible, man, if he took off, if he abandoned you, how do you honour that? When the Bible says honour your father and your mother. So I have to lie. So I have to.
But do you look at that as? Are you saying that you wouldn't? Like, if you were in that situation, do you feel like you wouldn't, or you would blindly honour? This is like the Japanese
Well, no, that's
culture.
not honour though. That's
okay.
not honour.
Yeah, that's where the word gets mixed up though.
Yeah.
Honour doesn't mean I have to lie. Oh, my dad was awesome. I love him. I never met him and he abandoned me. I'm honouring my mum and dad. No, that's not authentic and that's not real and that's not true.
So what would you liken the word honour to? To respect or to love or to authority? Like, what would you liken it to? Because I feel like so many people don't understand the word honour.
Value.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's a concoction of value, respect,
Yeah.
I think it's a mixture of words that can fall under honour.
Obedience,
Yeah.
sacrifice.
But it is I think it is a hard issue. It's definitely for me it's a hard issue, I believe, because it's I think you can honour with your lips, but your heart is very dishonouring, and I think it's a intriguing thought because that can happen a lot in the church context. I can walk around and say the right things and even do the right things to maybe put out there, project that I'm honouring X, Y, whoever, but then when the reality is in my heart, I'm like, man, that guy ticks me off. I can't stand. It's like when you clean your room. When your parents tell you to clean your room, go and clean your room. I had this happen to me growing up. I'm sure my kids have done it with me. I've just ignored dad or whatever, and then eventually you'll snap, and then out of obedience or an honour, I respect you. Yeah, cool. I'll go and do it. So I go to the room and do it. But while I'm in the room, I've done this. I remember as a teen, like, man, I hate you, man. I'm trying to do you. He's not in there, but I'm doing the. Hey, I'm respecting you, Dad.
Yeah. So that's authority. That's an authority thing.
Why didn't you have a crack at him?
Because even as a young person, I had wisdom. I had some element of wisdom. Wow, he would have knocked me into next week, quite literally. But I think it's got to be a hard issue fundamentally. And then I believe the other actions, words, do follow that trajectory of your life. I think as you start to realise it is a biblical thing.
So just going on what Marshall's talking about value, that's a really good way to place on it.
Yeah.
I think it gives a clear line. So if you're, you would obviously then see people who think they have to honour someone, so they spend all their time serving someone they might not even like because they feel like in that environment they have to do this. This could be your boss at work, whatever it is, your way to get promoted. It could be your pastor when you're on intern, like wherever. It could be in a sporting environment, the captain of the team. So you feel, is there a difference between honouring someone and serving someone, like the heart thing around it? What do you think? Yeah.
Meaning, I'm just trying to get a grapple with your.
Well, I think if you're, a lot of people would think they would look at honour and serving within the same.
Yes.
Within the same.
Okay,
mix.
like so.
You could serve someone and not like it.
Yes. So as an example, I can honour. I think honour is part of honour is the element of dialogue and even confrontation. That's me showing you value on an issue. If I'm wrestling with something and I'm like, man, this is really grating me. I think part of honour is to say, let's say it's Scott, even though probably a bad example because he's like next to Jesus, the fourth part of the Trinity, even though Trinity means three. Wow, another epic rookie mistake I just made. Man.
That's what you said to me the other day.
What was I saying? Oh, here we go.
You were calling him Jesus or something.
God, boys, I've lost my thought. Oh my gosh, it's gone out the window.
I'll pick you up. I'll pick you up. I'll honour you. With the whole serving thing.
Yeah.
So, Paul talks about this a lot in his letters about serving your master because ultimately your master's Christ. And even though you're a slave, you're free in Christ. And your master's actually a slave to God anyway. So it's quite a contentious attitude that you have to embrace. And I think honour is how you see God. So I can work for a terrible boss because I'm actually not serving them. I'm serving the Lord. I can engage with someone because I have to choose to see God in them because they're created in the image and likeness of God. So I need to honour them because that's my way of honouring God.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I have to agree with their life. But I don't know. I think there's a correlation there between our walk with the Lord and our relationship with God and how we serve and obey and sacrifice and treat others. So,
yeah, I agree. It's a funny word. I come back to. I was talking to Laura about this today about honour, and I think I looked up the original to the Hebrew meaning, and it was something about to give weight to something.
Way too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just came back to, love one another, honor one another. I just come back to and it's you can always tell how close someone is to Christ by just how they love people. And I think about the honor in the same way.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't really matter. That's why I'm confused.
Yeah.
A little bit confused when you say, like, so if I had a bad dad, I would just choose to, love him.
Yeah.
But I get that. I'm getting mixed up with the honor part, with the value, because I would look at it and go, I love him.
Which is value.
I don't love the behavior, but I love him.
But some people mightn't be able to get to that spot though.
Yeah.
Some people had, But coming back to your point before, I think honor is almost, when I think of it, I think of a secular meaning of the word, even though it's obviously being translated that way in the Bible, because I think because a lot of our church models have become quite hierarchical, that honor gets abused. So people are expecting honor back to them. So the value thing for me kind of flattens it out, because I think the kingdom of God's flat. And then I value everyone else in the kingdom, but I also value the gifting in someone. So the pastor, teacher, whatever gifting they have, I also value that. So I've had times in the past where someone might be 10 years younger than me, but I recognise Christ in them and I value the gifting in them. So I will
Very
submit.
kind of you, Scott. It's very kind.
His name is Brody Buchanan.
It was just heavy. It was just heavy. I was sort of lining up. Okay.
But yeah, look, and it's been, to me, it's like I recognise Christ, I recognise the grace in their life, I value and honour the gifting in their life, so I will submit and honour that.
Which is
I've got no problem doing that.
Which is what Romans said: honor one another above you. It didn't
so good.
stipulate. It didn't stipulate like honor this person according to their position.
Yeah.
It says honor one another above yourself, which is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, a very biblical thing, and that's why I say it has to come from the heart, because you can't manufacture that. I don't think it lasts long anyway. I think it's a temporary thing
And that's the whole weight thing. So, like, how much gold are you going to put on the scale of value for honouring? That's sort of the similar picture.
Yeah.
So honouring would be also, though, because that's what I was going to say about Scott being Jesus, or fourth part of the Trinity, was, would honour also be the ability to, there is something that I'm challenged by with Scott. There is something that I'm wrestling with. There is an issue. So honour would be, this is a question, honour would be sitting down one-on-one, Scott.
Absolutely.
This is really, but Scott's,
bugging you.
Yeah, this is bugging me. But Scott's my pastor or my leader, so I'm like,
is the door open for that?
Yeah. Oh man, let's open it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a reality. I think that can be misconstrued. Was misconstrued in the church, where you don't question.
Very
That's
good.
dishonouring. I would, I'm
That's
like,
unhealthy, I think.
yeah. So,
But you got to do it. How do you do that? How do you do that in a good, healthy way?
So I think we've just got to the start of the podcast. Right. Now that we're here.
But is there a healthy way of doing it?
of course.
It's dependent on who decides
Who
the
decides the
subjective view of health.
Yeah.
because in the Western, in my little view of the Western world church, I feel like the ability for a parishioner, what do you want to call it, to articulate something upline is regarded as dishonouring. Often.
To challenge something.
Yeah, to challenge something often, which I think is quite messy. And that's where I think people get really broken and messed up and hurt. So, man,
you obviously
let's talk about that.
You don't want like 20 people rushing into you.
No.
Yeah, so
That's what
how
I
do you
mean.
do it
It's-
healthy?
yeah.
How do you do it in a healthy way?
It goes both ways too, because I've been the person who's done it right and wrong. Because I've been
the person that's done it right.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I've looked back at times and gone, oh man, I was just literally just firing up the whole time, and with my little goggles on, and not realizing. But then there's been other times where I've stuck to my guns and still feel like what I've said at the time, and the door was closed. So I agree, it's a hard, like you said. I mean, how do you police that moment too, as to, is your door open if Scott comes to you and says, "Hey, Pastor Dan"?
But
No one likes criticism though, do
Yeah.
they? So no, that's just a human reaction. Like as soon as someone comes in and maybe potentially points something out about yourself.
But if you honour the relationship,
thanks for that.
like if you find if there's value in your relationship,
Yeah.
straight away you're going to be like, "Hey, let's sort this out." But if you've got mates you've lost over time, whatever, if you don't value the relationship, it'll just bottle up and simmer
cut it.
away, and you'll
Yeah.
cut it.
But anyone, because you honour everyone, then there shouldn't be any, like if you came to me and I didn't even know you, because I honour you.
Do you that?
No, I should, because
you-
I should. Because I should.
You should.
Prefer others
Yeah.
above myself. So if you say, Marsh, I've got something to challenge you on, I should honour that because you're, one, courageous enough to actually...
So the
Me?
value,
But if you don't know me, I have no value.
No, but the value you're giving that person is just the literal ear that you have.
Oh, the humility,
Yeah.
the humility of hey,
That's the
we're on
value.
the same level.
But the content of what's been said is probably not going to have a lot of effect.
No.
That would be fair to say.
But I've shown
Yes.
honour
Yeah.
because, man, I don't know you.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
You've got
Yeah, that's
something
great.
to say.
I get it.
Yeah, that's
I agree.
good.
Because I think, because I've heard this spoken in church circles, the proximity of people to me, and I've done this as well. People have come to me who I have a long, distant relationship. I'm not interested in what you're really saying to me. It has no weight because you have no skin in the game. You have no buy-in. You have no output. You've just thrown opinions out from the nosebleed section. But I will listen. But as in, like, man, cool, you made time. But I think there's elements of I'm not gonna give the words actual weight. But if it's someone close proximity that I trust, man, tell me, go for it. And then I need to show the weight by applying maybe what has been said if there's truth in that. Yeah.
That's a hard one to navigate. That's
That
like
is.
open door policy, but can't guarantee there's someone here listening. The door's open.
Yeah.
But say what you want. Yeah. That's a hard one.
Interesting one.
I like it. It's honesty, though. How can you honour without honesty?
You can't.
You can't.
Nah.
So there has to be either if I've got a bone to pick with you, I can either let it go and I can honour you in that by not even bringing it up, actually giving it to the Lord. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Or
Then I just keep doing it. doing it. You're like, all right, Lord, this is a sign.
Look, while we're on
just confirm it 3 times.
While we're on
Oh,
this
no, 4
topic.
times.
we can edit that
5
later.
Should we? Do we need to talk about this now, Brody?
Not on air. Not on air.
But no, that's true. I agree.
Because it's not about honour's never shaming. So, if I've got a heart to honour you, I'll be honest with you without shaming you. And if you've got a heart to honour, that's the beauty of if we both value honour,
Yeah, it'd probably be a smooth outcome.
it would be
great
there'd be great, robust communication that would actually enhance our relationship. But
That's true.
It should.
No, it is true because I've been in those situations where it's good.
Yeah.
Both ways.
Both
there's
ways.
Strong, solid dialogue and communication, which is, I think, it's true. I think that, but there's probably a breakdown of that in the church context.
Yeah.
There's a breakdown maybe of robust, solid,
Maybe give me an
conversation.
example or a name or something. Yeah, no, I
This podcast isn't long enough, mate.
But I think people, if they're courageous enough
to come.
to actually say, hey, I want to have a chat with you, Scott, about something, I reckon that's pretty amazing. It's pretty
So-
rare.
So let's talk about that because you're a pastor. You've been doing that for 4
Yeah.
Years?
20-ish years.
You're, you're only 30, but you started quite young.
But I've got a 20-year-old.
Yeah, that's right. But let's talk about that from that perspective for a moment, because there could be pastors out here listening. I don't know. Maybe they have a wrong angle or approach to this. I think it's a powerful way to live, but man, the practical outworking of that is difficult, because I think I'll just say it how it is. Most pastors wouldn't have an open door policy. It's more closed than open, because they don't want the opinions of Tom, Dick and Harry, who they don't really know and don't really care for. So you know what I mean? Like, man, let's talk about it from that angle as being a pastor. How do you navigate that? Because pastors, we take it as people can be very sensitive and like, man, it can hurt. You know, there's those elements. So I'm like, man, I'm not out, Scott.
Guarding your heart.
Yeah, so you're guarding your heart.
I just know who I am, man. Like I'm not great.
Yeah.
Like I'm just a Joe average man. I'm just like I'm nobody. You know, I'm somebody to God, but who am I to ever assume I'm above someone else? So, yeah. So that's just me, though.
Yeah.
Great leaders, great pastors, they're in their thing, doing their thing. I can't say they're doing it wrong. I just love the smell of sheep, I suppose. And I don't mind the mess. I don't mind, you know, and if I've done something wrong, I'm happily, thanks for telling me. You know, I've got a booger hanging out my nose. Man,
Let me know.
thanks for telling me. Like, that's courageous to come and talk to me about it. And so I can't speak for anyone else. I can just say, I'm happy to talk to anyone.
No, I love his answer. And as you were asking him about it, because we've actually mentioned this amazing guest a few times on our show, I refer to you a bit. I'm just hoping it's my way of honouring, you know. No, but I was going to say.
But your heart is far from me.
That's why I was laughing so much. I was like, wow.
No, I was going to say that I almost see it's easy for Marshall to honour people because he knows who he is. And I liken that to I've been better at this stuff the more I learn who I am.
Yeah.
Because you stop caring about other people you stop worrying. The negative doesn't bother you. It becomes water off a duck's back. You see the best in people all the time. Like, if you always see the best in people, you're going to hear what they say. I always feel I was being quite good at being, is it rational or irrational? Irrational.
Rational.
If someone has a problem with me, I actually know there's a reason why. Whatever the reason is, the reason why, so I don't have a problem with them because they have a problem with me. I kind of want to know what it is. And if it's something I can do better, that's great.
I generally don't have a problem with anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I generally...
Yeah, but people might have a problem with you, but you don't care.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's on them.
But for a lot of leaders, they care. For a lot of people, they care if someone has a problem with them. It binds them up. So there's a maturity in knowing who you are. You stop caring about that stuff, which then means you can just honour everyone because you see them as equal. Not a threat, not above, not below.
What about you, Dan? Because I was going to say, obviously, you know, pastoring and being in ministry for so long, human nature, when you get accolades, it's hard to not take that to heart. Obviously, you know, people think, oh, you're doing an awesome job. So that builds up a thing in you where you're proud of what you're doing. You're proud of who you are and et cetera, et cetera. So then you get the other side where people are knocking you down, criticising you, and you obviously been doing it for this long, so you get to a point where you can, I don't know, you balance that out.
Yep.
But how do you continue, keep your eyes on Christ and let those things not take so much weight in your life, I guess?
Oh, I think I think there is a lot to have to say with, you know, Marsh mentioned it. I think it is that deep understanding and knowing who Christ has called you to be, and knowing the gift, we use the Christianese terminology here, the gift and the grace and the call of God on my life. I'm not like you. I'm not like so-and-so. I don't have this gift. I'm not great here. This is my lane. This is where I'm at. So I feel like that's a revelation. And if you do have that revelation, that stops you from striving. And I think it does stop you from the you know, what do you call it? The people praise you, but
the
then
draw of the accolade.
Yeah, it keeps you from that because you do know, like honestly, as even times, almost every time I preach, before I preach, I'm a mess. Like I'm not like I'm amped about this. Like I am amped. I'm you know, it's an honor, it's a privilege, but peel the layers away and I'm like, man, who the I'll say it, who the hell am I to do what I'm doing. So
His ego would get stroked way more than mine because he gets invited to platforms that are, you know,
no,
we have Dan Podcast all the way from Gold Coast, Australia.
it's not true.
Ben,
Stop it.
Ben, come on,
No.
wait, watch.
Stop
watch,
it.
Watch,
Stop it, Mars. Stop it. No, go. Keep going. Keep going. Stop it, mate. Stop it.
Dan's up there. I'll stop now.
Sorry, enough about me. But what do you think about me?
So that's. I think there's more opportunity for Dan to get his ego stroked in an unhealthy way because of honour, and I think people can chase that.
Yeah.
And that's why I think relationships important.
Very.
You know, I mean, Dan and I have always had this conversation. If we ever get to the point where we're too big for anything,
Kick my backside.
you know, and that's where groundedness is important. I think Jesus could, you know, debate with the Pharisees, being a rabbi himself, but could spend time with the children and the women and the men by themselves with no one looking. You know, hey, I'll heal you, keep this to yourself, don't tell anyone. Like, to me, that's a grounded person. You know, they don't need to say, hey, I'm about to heal this guy. Come on. $5 entry. I'm going to take an offering after I do it.
Write a book on it.
Write a book on it.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So I think grounded. Dan's always been a grounded person. I think inherently because he knows how undeserved he is.
It's true.
And I'd say that with liberty because, and I'm the same because, man, I don't
100%.
deserve anything. I don't deserve anything.
Which is a great premise to, I think, to live with honour. Because then I'm not here or there or wherever there is. I don't know, wherever, whatever you want to call that. Because I think you mentioned before about in a hierarchical context. Yeah, I think honour can become unhealthy because it's, there's elements.
It actually feeds to
it.
the culture of ambition and promotion and elitism.
I was just going to say, so if we come back again to the saying honour is value, are a lot of church contexts teaching people to value the wrong thing?
The gift.
The gift,
Over
the
the
platform,
over the character.
the
Yeah.
platform, the position, the person up front. I'll look at Johnny, let's get him up on stage and say how awesome he is because he's here 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock and the 6 o'clock service serving, which is a great thing, but there's never any shout out for the single mum doing grinding through the week. I honestly think where we are teaching, you know, we're discipling people to look to that rather than the, you know, and go back to the New Testament. Paul talks about being the lowest of the low. You talk about the, you know, all the early church fathers being martyrs.
Yeah.
Doesn't sell. I don't think we'd have as many people chasing that.
Very good.
And that's why the hierarchy, where there's hierarchy, there's politics. And where there's politics, there's religion.
Yeah.
And where there's religion, there's no honour. It's performance, it's ambition. And so you're honouring for an ulterior motive.
Well,
You know, blowing smoke, I think, is
Yep.
it's
a certain coloured nose. You know, as the world would say it.
Yeah.
And
So what would we say to, let's say, young Christians early in the walk, or, you know, people in their 20s, 30s, obviously haven't been doing it as long as we have. Continue on. Anyway, joking.
I was going to say, the peasants.
The peasants out there, no. Yeah, what do we say to them? What do we say to them to focus on? To not get caught up in that.
primarily Jesus.
Yeah.
Like at a real simplistic, it sounds almost...
That's so easy to say, and it gets lost in translation.
That's what I mean. Bam. That's a great name for a podcast, mate. No, but that's what I was literally about to say. It sounds so simple and I think because it can go over people's heads and over their, they're just looking for something. Give me the pragmatic. Where's the 5 steps? Where's the 10 steps? And I get X, Y, Z result. I think, yeah, man. The more honestly, I feel like the more I know Jesus, the better person I become. Let alone pastor, whatever, Christian. The better human being I become. I'm a better father. I'm a better husband. I'm a better minister. I'm a better person. So I feel like this generation, maybe we are. I agree. I think we're presenting something that can be, under the guise of the gospel or Christ, but there's all this other stuff that is grabbing the attention of this generation, and I think we got to be careful and keep people's eyes on the beauty of the cross and the power of that. And it's Easter weekend coming up this weekend, so. Yeah, for me, I know it's so simple, but I endeavour to do that in my own life. Man, keep him at the centre. Don't get caught up in all the peripheral.
I think that's where, Paul writes to the young church in Corinth, that Corinth is all about philosophy and oratory and rhetoric and philosophy, presentation.
Pontification.
Yeah, all that stuff. So, but he says you've got a lot of teachers because there was everyone trying to get status and kudos and stuff. But he says you've got a lot of teachers, but you haven't got many fathers. And so, I think for a new believer and a young Christian, I think there is the thought of having a father figure who can actually walk through some of the foundations and role model some aspects of what it means to follow Christ in the everyday life, not just in a system or a structure or a program. So I think it is the coming alongside. You can't father 1,000 people in a healthy way to follow Jesus. It's a slow walk. That's why Paul says, imitate me. Timothy was a son to him. So, and that's not over a 3-week DNA class. Or growth step class. That's actually a walk of life. And so
4 weeks should do it.
Solid 4 weeks. Solid.
So I think for a new believer, it's actually finding that, trying to not be drawn in by the emotion of the environment. It like our Christian faith has legs that actually walks on Monday and outworks on Tuesday and worships on Wednesday, so that's what I think a father type journey is important.
Yep. That's true.
Yeah.
Honor. We're just about time to wrap this up, believe it or not. Time has
I feel like I'm just as confused as when I started.
No, it's not.
No, I'm joking. Nah, I love it.
Who's the author of confusion? Ouch. But any last, thoughts, maybe takeaways when it comes to healthy honour? Any takeaways? Start with you, Scott. You're our teacher on board.
Look, come back to what we started. It is, I think, when I think of honour, I think of value. Value helps me to see the value in everyone. Flat kingdom, everyone's got value. Everyone's got value. Think of my family. Think of family ethics, a family coming at it from the family perspective. And I think if we start there, everyone's got value. Start there, we'll be right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Pretty similar. Yeah, I think I tied in a bit with the humility and being on the same level as people. And yeah, I just feel like honour is my choice. I choose to honour because I follow Christ, and so it's not a choice that I choose not to. It's just something that I do. I will honour people because
it's a choice that you're determined to make.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll finish with a bit of wisdom from Proverbs. By humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honour and life.
Absolutely.
I think that's great for me.
There you go.
Uncle Dan?
We're dripping the The revelations are coming out tonight. It's been amazing. Well, we think it's been amazing. Could be delusional right there, but who cares? Listen, hit that, what is it, follow button. We're so good at this stuff. We're amazing.
Subscribe.
Yeah,
there.
that's right. The subscribe button down the right, left, top right, left. Who cares? Hit that button. Hit follow on Spotify. Appreciate you listening. Have a fantastic week.
And obviously, from Scott and I, we'd love to just honour our pastors.